Let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks, because what the hell is happening as of late? What the hell happened last night? What the hell is happening this last week? This last month? I don't even know. The season from hell continues for the Mavericks as Spencer Dinwiddie has a layup with 3 seconds left that goes off the backboard, is goaltended by Trey Murphy, and is counted as a block. There is no call by the ref. No one even stops the play. The Mavs have to foul. It's like 1.5 seconds left in the game. Trey Murphy makes both free throws, and the Mavs lose. How in 2025, in which we have infinite amount of reviews, we spend way too much time, in my opinion. I've been a big advocate of getting rid of the second challenge. We spend way too much time doing reviews. How can we not review this? Because they didn't call the goaltend, we can't review it. And we can't challenge it. We didn't have a challenge anyway, but I don't think we would have been able to challenge it because the call was not made. There was no review, there was no check, there was no, let's see if he actually, no, there was none of that because the play just continued on and we fouled. It was a blatant missed call by the refs. I mean, it was obvious. It was obvious, really. Like, take a look at it for yourself. It was obvious. I want to talk about Kyrie's availability. I want to talk about Spencer Dinwiddie having the ball too much. And you know what? We're just going to start there. We're going to start with Spencer Dinwiddie, a guy that did struggle last night, struggled kind of off and on this entire season. And I think the only reason he's really struggled is because he's being asked to do too much. And I understand people are saying, well, who else are we going to give the ball to? And I agree to some degree. Like, who else is going to be our lead guard out there? I would argue Quentin Grimes could do that role pretty well, but he's not as good of a passer as Dinwiddie is, and not as good of an ISO scorer. But what I will say is two things can be true. Spencer Dinwiddie can be the best replacement for Luka and Kyrie, and he's doing a lot. He's having to replace 2 top 20 players in the NBA right now, just by himself. And that's not fair. That's not a fair thing to ask, which is why Jason Kidd needs to figure it the fuck out, because we don't need Dinwiddie to play the role of Luka and Kyrie all at once. We just don't need that. It's not a thing that we need. We have other guys on the team that can play a certain lead ball handler role. I'm glad that we have Dinwiddie, but I think we're asking him to do things that are outside of his realm of possibility, especially at his age. It doesn't make any sense for Dinwiddie to have the ball for 15 seconds of a shot clock in the fourth quarter. Why are we playing Dinwiddie ball in 2025? No one even did that in 2018, let alone now. I don't understand. We play a nice movement offense for the majority of the game, and then when the fourth quarter hits, it's like, all right, Dinwiddie, stand there and wait for Daniel Gafford to set you a pick, and then jack up a bad three-pointer or dish it. And by then, it's like a grenade because you got 6 seconds on the shot clock to make something happen. Here, Quentin Grimes, take a mildly contested three-pointer. Here, PJ Washington, you've got 7 seconds. Work in isolation. Here, Daniel Gafford, I'm going to dump it down low to you. And Daniel Gafford was great last night. It was the best game of his season, and really has bounced back a lot from the criticism he's had and the trade rumors and all that. But what I will say is we just don't need to be giving Spencer Dinwiddie the ball for 15 seconds of the shot clock in the fourth quarter. He can do a lot for us. He's a good lead ball handler with Luka and Kyrie out. But again, like I said, both things can be true. Spencer Dinwiddie should have the ball in his hands, and Spencer Dinwiddie shouldn't have the ball in his hands as much as he does now, and Jason Kidd shouldn't be asking so much of him. He doesn't need to be the guy. He doesn't have to be. This team is talented enough. He does not need to be the guy. He is not an all-star. Why are we playing through him so much? It pisses me off. The last time a protest, which I assume the Mavericks are going to protest this game because we protested that game 2 years ago. Remember when we were on the wrong side of the court for that Warriors game? That was a very weird time. Yeah, we're not protesting that game. Nico Harrison came out today and said that we're not. And you know what? I get it. They're not going to prove it anyway, so I'm just going to cut the fact that I talked about this at all, but it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We protested that game, and that's not even half as bad as this is, because this is just straight up, it's inexcusable. You know what I mean? Like, there's irrefutable evidence. It's the 2-minute report is going to say they got it wrong. That's how it is. And even Dinwiddie talked about that. That's his goal. It's like when he lays that ball up, he's going glass first as fast as possible. So even if a player gets there, it's slapping it off the backboard after it's already come off. I understand refs have a very hard job, and I'm critical of the refs from time to time, but the majority of the time, I'm like, there are things you can avoid to not make the refs a factor in a game. Mavericks could have driven to the rim a little bit harder. They could have not played Spencer Dinwiddie ISO ball in the fourth quarter like they do every time Kyrie is out. Just a multitude of things we could have done to avoid it. But instead, this is where we're at. If that's the difference between us being a play-in and a playoff spot, I mean, what do you even say about that? That kind of play can alter your season. The Mavs are desperate for a win right now. They're 2-8 in their last 10. Luka is not going to be back. They say he's going to be back before All-Star break. I don't really believe that. Kyrie Irving, again, we'll talk about his availability, is here one game, gone the next. And Dante Exum is still out. Derek Lively just went out with an ankle injury. He's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. He just cannot keep that ankle healthy. We really desperately needed that win. And I know it's sad to say we desperately needed a win against the Pelicans because they haven't been good this year, but we did. I don't understand why. Again, I'm just going to get into it now. Why are we resting Kyrie Irving on games that we need to win? We don't have to beat the Thunder. You know what I mean? No one's expecting us to beat the Thunder right now. I know that the Mavs might think that. I'm shocked that Kyrie is resting on games in which we need to win and playing on games that we don't really have a chance to win without Luka or Derek Lively. If we have Kyrie tonight, I think we win that game. I think we win it pretty soundly, too. We don't have to worry about this goaltending bullshit or anything like that. I mean, that was a blatant miscall, again. But these things can be avoided by making coaching changes or playing Kyrie at the right times. If you're trying to limit his minutes because his back is bothering him and you don't want him to have too big of a load while Luka is gone, I understand that. That makes perfect sense. If you're going to manage an injury like this where you're like, he plays this game, doesn't play this game, we don't want him running too hot, that totally makes sense. But as of right now, Kyrie has played against every solid team in the NBA and has missed the games for the ones in which we played the bottom feeder teams. He didn't play against the Trailblazers. He didn't play against the Kings, though they've been really great as of late. He didn't play against the Pelicans last night. What? Why? Play him. And don't play him against the Nuggets. I understand the perspective is we still have a chance to beat the Nuggets. We still have a chance to beat the Thunder. And we do. I absolutely believe that. But what's the likelihood that Kyrie Irving helps us get a win over the Pelicans and guarantees it? Or he helps us get a win over the Nuggets, a team that has their full roster right now and is firing on all cylinders. Or the Thunder, who doesn't have their full roster, but obviously Chet Holmgren's still out. But even then, I don't understand it. This team is being mismanaged right now. The coaching doesn't make any sense in the fourth quarter. I think Kidd is good through 3 quarters, and then we get to the fourth, and it's like everything's stagnant. Why are we stopping the ball so much? I truly it's frustrating, and I understand that as a fan of the Mavericks, obviously, pennant right here. I understand I'm projecting in some sort of way where it's like, yeah, I'm a fan of the Mavs and we're not playing well and we're 2-8 in our last 10 and I'm mad about it. And if we were 8-2, I would feel different about it. Yes. If we share the ball a little bit more in the fourth quarter, we win this game. If Spencer Dinwiddie doesn't take terrible early in the shot clock 3-pointers, we win that game. Truly. He's being asked to do too much. I truly believe that. I don't think Spencer Dinwiddie is going out there taking terrible shots on purpose. He does that every once in a while. Like, he really thinks he'll make every shot he takes. And that's the kind of confidence you need to have as an NBA player. But if you, as a coach, Jason Kidd, don't manage his expectations or your expectations of what he's capable of doing in 2025, then that is on you. The loss is your fault because you are not managing the abilities of your players in a correct fashion. Because again, Quentin Grimes, when he's been given the opportunity and the keys to play as a little bit more of a lead guard, he averages like 20 points. When Jaden Hardy's got an opportunity in the last, week and a half, 2 weeks, he's been awesome. But I would say my frustrations with the Mavericks come from the mismanagement in these sorts of bad losses, where it's like, we have no option right now but to win the games that we have to win. If we have to beat the Pelicans, play Kyrie, play hard as fuck, move the ball in the fourth quarter, and let's not lose. Let's take care of that game. So then when we go to the Thunder and get our ass kicked for 3 quarters and fake come back with 3 minutes left and make it a 5-point game and end up losing anyway, and you've exerted all this energy and the locker room is in the shitter because everyone's like, we can't win a game to save our lives without Luka, it's because of severe mismanagement. Can we just do the right things with the pieces that we have on the court right now? The injury stuff is a totally different thing. It sucks. Injuries suck, but injuries happen. This has happened all the time. The Mavs in January have been historically bad. They've just been a bad January team. So let's take the pieces that we have available, Spencer Dinwiddie, and not ask so much of him. Let's give Quentin Grimes a little more on-ball time. Let's give PJ Washington a couple more post-ups. Let's get Daniel Gafford in the lane because he shoots like 80% when he's within, 5-6 feet of the basket. I mean, he's incredible. Let's put players in positions in which they can be successful and not ask Spencer Dinwiddie to do something he's not capable of doing anymore. He can every third night, every fourth night, he will have a great game. and I'm not going to take that away from him because I think he's a great player and I like him a lot. I like Spencer Dinwiddie. I like that pickup. Would I have rather had Dennis Smith Jr. at the time? Yes, but I ended up being wrong. Dinwiddie has been awesome. He's stepped in when we needed him to, but let's not stop acting like he's an all-star. Like, this is avoidable. Yes, we have injuries, but there are things to at least give us the best shot at winning a game. I will come on here and be disappointed when we come up short, not because of our fault, but because of a team just simply being better than us. And that's happened. But until then, I will continue to be frustrated by the fact that the little things that we do have going for us are just being mismanaged slightly. It's not horrific, but it is noticeable if you watch every game. But anyway, I tweeted something out like, it's fitting that Trey Murphy made that block against us last night because it feels like this Mavs season is Murphy's Law in a way where it's like whatever can go wrong will go wrong. Just feels like it's been like that all season. I mean, you finally get Kyrie back, you lose Derek Lively. You lost Kyrie, and you can just extrapolate that over the entire season. Bad losses, unfortunate events, Luka out for God knows how long. Mavs are 1.5 games back from the 10th seed and 2 games back from the 12th seed. It could be going better. This is supposed to be the season, man. It's supposed to be. It still could be, but my God. 22-19. But to be a little bit positive at the end here, we are only 2.5 games out of the 4th seed. If Kyrie comes back and we go on a little streak, it's possible. But I'm just going to say our next 5 games, and you can be the judge out there. Thunder, Hornets, Timberwolves, Thunder, Celtics. The schedule does not lighten up. It does eventually. Come February, late January, we've got the Wizards, Pelicans, Pistons. I was talking about that a while ago. That stretch, we need to win all 3 of those games. Straight up. I know the Pistons have been great. We need to win all those games. And we need to beat the Hornets here. I would rather Kyrie rest tomorrow to beat the shit out of the Hornets on Monday. They're not going to do that because obviously he can play Friday and then he can play Monday, hopefully. Here's to hoping. But we need to win that Hornets game, and we just need to take care of the teams that we need to take care of, and we can't lose to the Pelicans again. Regardless of how you lost, at some point, it is your fault. Anyway, y'all take care. Have a good one.